Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. Nutmeg and I have a lot of work to do today, and that is because it has been raining non-stop for the past 3 days. We're on day 3 of rain, and I actually woke up at 6 o'clock this morning to an absolute downpour, and I ran outside in the dark and cold in my PJs to grab some of my seedlings and get them under my porch and out of this crazy rain. And I think right now we're actually at a little bit of a break in the rain, so I figured it'd be a good time to go over some of the things that we do in order to keep the garden safe during the rain. Most of the plants out here are going to be fine, but there are some things that I am worried about. Like I said, the seedlings, I am really concerned that I have drowned them at this point, accidentally of course. And so yeah, we're just gonna go over some of the things that we do. Nutmeg actually does not mind getting wet at all. He is not a cat. Like, I don't understand. He will sit out here in the rain, honestly, unless it's a downpour. So he's gonna be out here, he's gonna be helping, supervising, doing his thing. But yeah, let's get to it. The first thing to do, like I mentioned before, is get your seedlings to a dry place. These, unfortunately, are getting eaten by cabbage worms. I've been trying to find them all. I need to get that Monterey BT stuff, but until I can find that, I need to move these to a drier place. As you can see, they are absolutely soaked through. They feel really heavy. There's runoff on their little cardboard thing that they're sitting on. So we're gonna go ahead and put these with the rest of the seedlings on my porch. Okay, so now all of my seedlings and potted plants are safe and dry on the porch. These are getting a little bit of rain, but not as much. So I might just move them back a little bit, but not too much, because they're really not getting a ton. These seedlings seem to be doing okay. These smaller ones don't seem to feel as heavy as the collards, which were left out a lot longer. So even these don't feel quite as heavy. So I think they're gonna be okay. I don't think I drowned them, hopefully not, because these are the most important ones to me, because I grew all of these from little seeds. These I bought, so it is what it is. But yeah, that is a pretty important step. Obviously the first thing I would do if it is raining too much in your area. The next thing I like to do is check for any damage and fallen produce. So I do have some broken marigold branches, but I'm not going to be too concerned about that. Last time it rained, I actually had a few of the pepper plants, whole branches just broke off. So I needed to get that immediately and save all of the peppers that were underneath. So just looking around, I don't see too much in terms of fallen peppers. Here's a super tiny one. It is edible. I know it's not technically ripe, but they are edible. So I will take any little pepper that I can find in here, but I just don't expect to see too much down here. There's some that are like overly ripe and squishy, kind of dried out, but yeah, not too much going down there. So I can't really complain about that. Normally I would see a lot more, but 2 isn't too bad. The most important produce to check is the one that is right behind me, and that is going to be tomatoes. Tomatoes are super susceptible to splitting if there is too much rain, even if they're still green. So anything that I find that is split, I'm going to pick. Anything that I find that is starting to turn color, I'm going to pick, because they will ripen inside, as I've mentioned before on the channel. Tomatoes do not need to be 100% ripe in order to ripen inside. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of strip these plants of anything that I find that is turning color or already split, to give it the best chances of ripening inside and not splitting any further. That will kind of save it from the overwatering. Tomatoes really do not like to be overwatered. So we're gonna go ahead. I think I saw some with color in here already. We're just gonna go ahead and pick them all. The sun is actually coming out, which I have not seen in several days, and I'm really loving that. But we got quite a bit of tomatoes, and none of them were actually split. So I'm feeling very grateful for that. I do kind of underwater my tomatoes to begin with. So hopefully they kind of got a proper amount of water now, or maybe just a little bit more and they didn't end up splitting. But there is one more piece of produce that I need to check because it is kind of prone to splitting as well. Not as much as the tomatoes here, but it's still worth checking up on. So let's go ahead and check it out. If you didn't guess, the piece of produce that I'm checking up on is going to be my watermelons. If they do get too much rain, they are prone to cracking and splitting. It can also impact the flavor of the watermelon. This one looks okay. It is a little bit small still to be picking, so that one should be all right. This one as well, we'll need to check up on. Looks pretty good to me, honestly. It's also a little bit small. This one doesn't appear to have any cracking on it, but it's so big that honestly, I think I'm gonna pick it. He's watching me touch it. He's like, Mom, what are you doing? That was really cute, buddy. So yeah, this one I think I'm gonna pick anyway. The tendril hasn't really died back yet, but this thing's huge. I've had it here for such a long time, and I'm really worried about it starting to taste watery at this point and splitting. But really quick, let me just check on this one up here. I think this one's gonna be fine, honestly, because it's hanging. It's not really gonna stay wet for too long. But I do wanna show you what kind of happens to some of the really small watermelons that are just starting out. This is completely rotted. It will abort a lot of these watermelons that are too small. If it gets too much rain, sometimes that would happen when I overwatered. But once they get to a certain size, it will try to keep them around like this one. Yeah, so I don't see any rot spots on that, which is really good. But like I said, if they are smaller, they will kind of, already the nutmeg. Like I said, if they're smaller, they will kind of rot off. But let's go ahead and pick that guy because one, I'm excited to eat it, and two, I'm really worried about any more rain. I just gave him a quick rinse off, but wow, he is massive and he weighs quite a lot too. I feel like he weighs more than nutmeg, probably also bigger than nutmeg, but yeah, this watermelon, big success, really happy with it. And I'm really glad it didn't crack. I'm very glad about that. And I'm looking forward to eating it soon, but definitely a precaution I was willing to take even if I harvested it a week or so early. I think it'll still taste great and I'm saving my produce, so definitely worth it to me. The last thing I like to do is just kind of take a stroll through the garden with Nutmeg and see if there's anything else that is broken that I might have missed, any other produce that is kind of knocked off, anything that looks like it's flooded that I maybe have to drain, though I don't have to worry too much about that because I don't have a ton of pots and we did just move them all underneath the porch. But we're gonna go ahead, take a stroll through, kind of look at the flooding in between all of the beds and see what we can find. So we'll take you along with us. What was that? What was that, mister? He is very antsy to run around because he's not been outside for 3 days. So let's go. Getting a little wet? You getting a little wet? found a few branches on my slicing tomatoes over here that are a bit precarious. I'm a little bit worried if it rains again, which it will. We're supposed to have rain for like another week straight, that they will break. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tie them up here where I see that I can, and hopefully that will alleviate some breakage, because I have a lot of little slicers here that I would like to save. So got that one tied up, maybe got another more I can tie up, and then we should actually be done out here with the maintenance. All right, all done there, and oh, look at that. Another tomato. I will go add that to the others. All right, so that is it for our rainy day garden maintenance. And I have a super muddy and wet nutmeg on my hands. I think it might be time for you to get a bath. I think it's about time. It's been a while and you're very muddy right now. Either he's gonna clean himself or I'm gonna bathe him. That's just how it's gonna be. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from me and Nutmeg here on the channel, including more rainy day videos, I'm sure. Thanks again, and we will catch you in the next one.